Hello and welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoy this story. I'm going to try and upload a new story each day. The Midnight Express. The train station was a desolate place at midnight, located in the heart of a forgotten town that time had left behind. An eerie silence blanketed the platform as a group of weary passengers gathered, each searching for refuge from the bitter cold and the darkness outside. They had heard rumors of the Midnight Express, a train that only came to this forsaken station once a year, offering an escape from the mundane, but none of them truly knew what they were getting themselves into. As the clock struck 12, a distant haunting whistle pierced the air. The train emerged from the abyss, shrouded in thick, impenetrable mist. It was unlike any other train they had seen, with ancient, rusted carriages, windows that glistened with a sinister glow, and a menacing, faceless conductor standing on the platform. The passengers exchanged nervous glances, but they knew there was no turning back now. Boarding the train, they felt an immediate unease. The interior was dimly lit, and the air was heavy with the stench of decay. The seats were worn, the windows cracked, and the floorboards creaked with every step. It was as though the train itself was a relic of forgotten nightmares. The conductor, his face obscured by shadows, collected their tickets without uttering a word. He then signaled for the train to depart, and with a bone-chilling screech, the Midnight Express began its journey into the unknown. The passengers settled into their seats, nervously exchanging glances, when suddenly the train entered a tunnel that seemed to stretch endlessly into the abyss. Panic set in as they realized there was no way out, and the tunnel showed no signs of an exit. The passengers clung to their seats, their hearts racing with fear. The interior grew colder, and the passengers could see their breath in the frigid air. Just when they thought things couldn't get any worse, they heard faint whispers echoing through the carriages, like the anguished cries of tormented souls. Unearthly shadows flickered and danced across the walls, taking on grotesque forms that sent shivers down their spines. As the tunnel's oppressive darkness pressed in on them, the passengers realized they were not alone. Apparitions of long-forgotten travelers emerged from the gloom, their eyes empty voids of despair. These phantoms reached out with skeletal hands, their touch icy and suffocating. The passengers were trapped in this nightmare, with no way to escape or turn back. They huddled together, their breaths misting in the ghostly atmosphere, whispering prayers and hoping for salvation. Hours passed, or perhaps it was days, for time had lost all meaning. The passengers' sanity began to slip away as the relentless horrors of the tunnel closed in on them. The apparitions grew more malevolent, their whispers turning into piercing screams that echoed through the train. In the darkest hour, a glimmer of hope appeared. A dim light flickered at the far end of the tunnel. As the train drew closer, the passengers held their breath, praying that it was the end of their ordeal. But as they reached the light, it revealed a grotesque truth. The tunnel had led them to an otherworldly abyss, an endless void where they would be trapped for eternity. The Midnight Express had become their eternal prison, and the horrifying entities within were their tormentors. The passengers' anguished cries were absorbed by the void as they were condemned to ride the Midnight Express forever, their souls now part of the train's haunted cargo. The conductor, still faceless, watched them with an eerie satisfaction as the train hurtled through the abyss, lost in a never-ending nightmarish journey. And so, the Midnight Express continued its sinister voyage, carrying lost souls and terrifying entities into the abyss, where time stood still and nightmares became their eternal reality. As the Midnight Express ventured deeper into the abyss, the passengers' despair and fear only grew. The ghostly apparitions that had once been passengers themselves now took on even more grotesque forms. Some were missing limbs, their ghastly moans filling the air, while others had hollow, empty eyes that stared into the void. They reached out with spectral hands, their touch leaving an icy residue that clung to the living. The train's windows offered no escape, showing only a nightmarish reflection of the passengers' own terror-stricken faces. The sense of hopelessness and claustrophobia inside the never-ending tunnel became suffocating. Each agonizing moment felt like an eternity. In the dim, flickering light of the train's interior, the passengers began to notice strange and disturbing graffiti on the walls. These grotesque symbols seemed to twist and writhe, taking on a life of their own. They spoke of an ancient evil that had found its home within the Midnight Express, a malevolent force that had made the train its vessel. With each passing moment, the passengers' grip on reality weakened, and they descended further into madness. The apparitions whispered dark secrets into their ears, tempting them to give in to the abyss. Some passengers started to succumb, surrendering their minds to the spectral entities, their eyes becoming vacant and empty. Among the passengers, one woman named Emily had managed to retain a fragment of her sanity. She refused to let the darkness consume her. Her determination to escape this nightmarish ordeal burned brightly, and she vowed to find a way out. Emily studied the eerie symbols on the walls, convinced that they held the key to their salvation. She realized that they were a language, a code that could unlock the secrets of the Midnight Express. With trembling hands, she began to decipher the cryptic messages, her determination unwavering. As she pieced together the ancient symbols and whispered incantations, the train shuddered and groaned. The apparitions let out blood-curdling shrieks, their forms flickering and distorting. The very walls of the train seemed to rebel against the dark force that had bound it to the abyss. The Midnight Express's speed began to slow, and the oppressive darkness that had surrounded them started to lift. The abyss that had once seemed endless began to show signs of an exit. Emily's efforts had disrupted the train's curse, and a glimmer of hope returned to the passengers. But just as they were on the brink of escape, the malevolent force within the Midnight Express fought back with renewed fury. The train convulsed violently, its windows shattering, and the apparitions manifested in their most horrifying forms, their collective rage and despair creating a tempest of torment. In the midst of this chaos, Emily continued her efforts, chanting the incantations with a determination that defied the darkness. The train shuddered once more, and with a deafening, final scream, it burst forth from the tunnel. The passengers, battered and broken, found themselves in the eerie twilight of a desolate landscape. They had escaped the infinite tunnel, but the Midnight Express had not released them entirely from its grasp. The train had become a grotesque, half-living entity fused with the abyss and now marooned in a world between worlds. As they disembarked, the faceless conductor stepped off the train and turned to face them one last time. His eyes were filled with a melancholy, knowing gaze. He spoke a cryptic warning before the Midnight Express vanished into the ethereal twilight, leaving the passengers in a hauntingly unfamiliar realm. The passengers had survived their journey through the abyss, but the horrors of the Midnight Express had left an indelible mark on their souls. They were forever changed, haunted by the memory of their nightmarish ordeal. Emily, another sole beacon of hope, led the group in search of answers, determined to unravel the mysteries of the train and find a way to free their trapped souls. The Midnight Express had become their eternal purgatory, and they were determined to find a way to break the curse and escape the train's sinister grasp, for the abyss that lay beyond was far from the end of their terrifying journey. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the story. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.